week number 12, personal finance at the University of Houston. Let me go ahead and let some folks into the Zoom room. So we will do that now. We'll get started in just a minute. Doing a sound check. Hey everybody, welcome aboard. Doing a little sound check. Can anybody confirm that you can hear me? Chat. Yes, we can. Thank you very much. Thank you. Welcome everybody. I appreciate that. I see a few new faces or names, so welcome aboard. So today's Zoom meeting is going to be very, very short, and I'll say that again here in a couple minutes because we're still giving folks a minute to join us. So let's see if I can refresh this page. Hey, cool, that's working. That's not pretty, but it's working. So today's Zoom meeting is really just to set the table for this week's assignment. And before I get into it too far, let me just give everybody a couple minutes to come on board. Nicholas, I see you're there. If you jump into your financial planning portal, you'll see that I've been playing around with your plan. So if you see some things that are different, it's because I was using your plan to create an example, a student example. And so I found a couple of things in your plan specifically that I wanted to just kind of highlight to help show everyone what we're looking for in the Capstone assignment. So I'm going to be putting together a pretty thorough review of the Capstone assignment. I'm going to be doing that today, and I'm going to post that to our YouTube channel. So you'll notice if you look at, if you can see, I'll see if I can expand it a bit, but if you see that little, when you go to Money Study Group, you'll see the YouTube link, and that takes you to our YouTube playlist for this semester. So that's something that you're going to want to click on if you're watching this Zoom meeting, the live stream, or if you're watching it after it's posted. Big point is that's where I'm going to post the Capstone assignment review later today. You're going to want to watch that video. You're going to also want to go into Blackboard and check your assignment, week 12 Capstone assignment. It's worth 200 points. It's a big assignment. This is kind of our final examination. You've come to pretty much the end of the course. So this Zoom meeting, I'm going to answer any questions you have here in just a few minutes, but I wanted to just kind of announce there are two assignments that remain. The big one, the Capstone assignment, is worth 200 points. I have also told students who are looking for extra points because you missed an assignment and maybe you're behind on points, there will be another assignment that will be really optional for those of you who have already accumulated sufficient points to earn your A. You do not need to do the final assignment. You're welcome to do it. I think it will be helpful. It's called the blueprint. And so what I'm going to do is just create an assignment for you called the Blueprint for Financial Success. And if you've read that chapter in Make Your Money Count, you'll see that it's basically a simplified financial plan. It's not digital, so I'm just going to create an assignment to help you kind of put it all together. And again, it'll be a valuable, helpful assignment for anyone. However, I made a commitment at the beginning of the semester that if you were at the end of the semester, if you'd earned and accumulated sufficient points to get an A, which many of you already have, and I'll tell you more about that in just a minute, but those of you who are in a position to earn an A, you won't need to do the additional assignment. You can just work on the other courses that you have that require a lot more attention and focus and energy, those that have final examinations. So let me talk a little bit about your points, because I know many of you are looking at your points and wondering, how do you get to that 950 points, which is the A. To get an A, you have to have 950 points. So remember, I owe you 200 points for class participation, and those of you who have done all of your assignments and have been participating through comments, through GroupMe, through interaction with me, those of you, you're not going to have any problem earning and receiving those 200 points for class participation. So make a mental note, go check your Blackboard right now for the course if you want to, and just make a mental note of how many points you have right now, and understand that you're going to have 200 points for class participation if you've missed no assignments, if you've done all the things I've asked you to do, basically participate in GroupMe, comment on Zoom meetings, and really just do a good job overall in your assignments. It's really pretty simple. 200 points for class participation. The other big points will come with this Capstone assignment, which I believe is worth 200 points. So the Capstone assignment is 200 points. That's a big assignment. So you want to pay attention to this Capstone review that I'm going to be doing today, and you'll see that assignment in Blackboard. It's not going to be posted until later today, but once you get that assignment completed, you'll earn those up to 200 points. You don't get early assignment points for the Capstone. It's 200 points, and you get deductions if you miss some major points, which will be covered in the Capstone review. So again, please pay attention to the Capstone review. This is where we put it all together, what we've learned this semester and what you've done, the work that you've been doing in your financial planning portal. So if you've missed some things along the way in your assignments as you built your financial plan, this Capstone review gives you an opportunity to go in and tweak and correct and update those data cards that may be incorrect or erroneous or just plain wrong. So this is a great opportunity for you to learn in a more concentrated way how to create a workable financial plan using the basic information that goes into every financial plan. So again, spend some time, watch the review. And I want to mention too, I'm getting some comments that, and I just get a sense that a lot of you are doing your homework on your phone, and you're doing your work in the financial planning portal on your phone. And that's really a bad idea. It's just not going to work for you. The screen is just way too small. And so if you really want to learn and you really want to get comfortable creating this financial plan, you really need to be using a laptop or a computer. I use a 28-inch iMac, which, that seems like plenty of real estate. When I use my MacBook, it's kind of tight, but it works fine. But I'm telling you, if you're doing that work on a phone, you're really basically putting yourself behind the 8 ball, meaning you're really disadvantaging yourself. So you really need to be using a computer, laptop or a computer, to do the work in the portal. It's just the screen is just not, there's just no way you can do that on a phone and really get the experience. So if you're struggling in the financial planning portal, it could be, if you've been doing it on your phone, that could very well be a reason why. And I'm seeing a lot of things that are easy to fix, and so I know that we have almost 2/3 of the students in the course who are getting it, who are doing great. About 1/3 of the students are struggling in certain areas. So just kind of hopefully a helpful hint to use your laptop as you get into this Capstone assignment. So that's coming. The Capstone assignment is going to be posted today. It's 200 points, and you have 2 weeks to complete it. Now, I would encourage you to complete it sooner rather than later. for the same reason that I've been encouraging you all semester to submit your assignments early. And that is simply because if you submit it and I review it and I find some areas that need to be corrected, you get an opportunity to go back, make corrections, and turn it in by the due date and not have the penalty of those missing points. So again, it's your call, but it really works well for you if you do turn it in early, and I do get a chance to review it. I'll give you a little feedback and tell you what you need to do to correct it. If you don't turn it in early, you don't have that opportunity. And again, I can't promise you that I'm going to be reviewing assignments all the way through the 2 weeks. I promise you I will review the ones that are turned in by this Friday, like I always do. I will review those and give feedback. But after that, I kind of get busy with my business and other things, so I'm not committing to you that I'll be giving you feedback all the way through the 2 weeks. So just so you know, fair warning, if you turn it in early by this Friday at 3 p.m., then you will certainly be protecting yourself for the benefit of having some feedback to make corrections by the due date, which is going to be 2 weeks from today, which will be when we basically wrap up the course. Again, there is another assignment coming for those of you who may need it. If you're curious, go check your points in Blackboard, and if you're in the 600 range, think about it. 600 plus 200 is 800, plus another 200 is 1,000. You're in great shape. And this course is set up on a 1,000-point scale, so some of you are way ahead of that. And the reason is because you were given an opportunity from the very beginning of the course to do your assignments early and receive extra points. So for those of you who took advantage of that, if you haven't missed any assignments, you should be way ahead. But don't take the capstone for granted. You're still going to be graded on your competence in terms of what kind of data, what kind of content have you got in your financial plan. So if you're missing things like expenses, if your expenses are just not reasonable or incomplete or way inaccurate, you're going to get deductions for that. If you're showing income, I looked at one today, and I have to be very careful about questioning income, because the first semester that I taught this course, I had a student who did their financial plan and they showed a $250,000 income. And of course I questioned that because they were saying that was their income as of now, and I pushed back and I deducted some points, and turns out that it wasn't their dream job that they hoped for in the future. This particular student was actually making $250,000 a year at that point. So I have to be careful, but I am seeing some students who have these really what looks like very inflated numbers. And so if you do make $300,000 a year, make sure you tell me that in the comments as you go through your assignment, that I'm actually making this. Or if it's a high income number, higher than $100,000, make sure you comment and tell me this is what you're studying for. One student studying to be a doctor, so clearly the income should be higher, the student loan's going to be higher, but I need you to tell me that, because otherwise I'm going to assume that you just made up a bunch of numbers to get those probabilities to look good, and that's not the purpose of this. If it's a realistic expectation, great, just tell me that. But if you're just making up numbers to get the probabilities to work, then that's going to get some deductions. So again, pay attention to your expenses, pre-retirement expenses and post-retirement expenses, and use some good logic about what those expenses will be. That makes a big impact on your plan. If your savings are really, I told you to go ahead and create $150,000 worth of accounts so that you could do tax allocation. And I know that's a made-up number, and that's fine. But if you're creating a $300,000 savings account, or if you're paying off your house, in year 6 of your mortgage without really having a realistic way to bring those funds in, then that's going to make your plan look really great, but it's just not realistic. So the point is, in this capstone, to use the tool to create some good projections for your financial future based on some realistic assumptions about your life. So I hope that's helpful. And just, again, give me some feedback as you go through it. Don't just make up numbers and throw them into your financial plan and expect that I'm going to look at them and not question them. That's what I'm doing. And again, you'll see that when I do the capstone review. You'll get to see me go through each of the data cards that are going to be part of the assignment for your capstone. Again, you've already done these assignments, so those data cards are already completed, and most of the work for your capstone is already done. It's just a matter of going back and taking it and putting it into the capstone assignment. So I hope that helps. Now I'm going to spend a minute or two. I'm going to look into our chat and see. Sounds good to you. Great. Thanks, Nicholas. Siri thinks I'm talking to her, so she's whispering in my ear.
Who do you want to reply to?
I need to figure out how to turn Siri off. Let's see if I can turn Siri. Yeah.
Who do you want to send it to?
I'm sorry. I'm having a conversation with Siri, and it's very, very distracting. So now I'm looking in the chat. Is this the last week for class? Olivia, that's a great question. So here's the deal. This is for those of you who already earned or will be earning your 950 points. This is it. This is the last time you have to see my mug in our course, because you will be good to go. And again, I hope you can join us next week. I hope you want to join us. But typically, if we were in a classroom, Olivia, at this point in the semester, we would be wrapping things up, and we would have another meeting where we would have basically a pizza party, where I would buy pizza and you guys would eat it, and then I would ask for volunteers to help clean it up. But we're not able to do that this semester. So today is kind of officially the last lesson for the students who have, taken my recommendations and worked ahead and earned the points. You can spend your time next week focusing on those courses that require more attention and more effort. So that's kind of the answer. I'll be here next week, but you may or may not be here next week. That's up to you and up to your points. If you're missing points and you're working on getting your grade up to a respectable letter, then you probably want to show up next week and hear about how I can help you do that. But you've got to do the work. If you're still working on gaining more points, the ball is in your court, not my court. So hopefully that answers your question, Olivia. And thank you, Olivia, and all of you who have participated in this Zoom meeting this semester. There's a few of you who have been very active and very helpful to me to just kind of share input and let me know you're listening. It's a little bit challenging, as you might imagine, to just sit here and talk into a plastic camera. It's not a high-dollar camera. It's not even glass. It's plastic. I'm getting a call, so I should have turned my phone off. If we were in a room at U of H, if we were in a class, that's one thing I would always ask is turn off your phone. Get off of Facebook. But with Zoom, honestly, I don't know what you're doing out there. I'm kind of hoping that you're here and you're paying attention, whether it's during the Zoom meeting or live stream or watching it after it's uploaded. But the truth is, I have no idea. So the best way I can tell if you guys have had an experience that's going to be helpful and beneficial is kind of in your assignments, the comments that you give me, and in the capstone assignment. So it's been a challenging semester, I think, but Hope it's been good for you, and I am looking forward to the time when we can get back to normal and be in the classroom. I think that's better. But on the other hand, there are some benefits to this, and so all that to say, thank you very much. I'm going to look for a few more comments, and then I'm going to wrap it up and go get to work on the Capstone review, because that's my big chore for today, and it's your big assignment for the next 2 weeks. Again, before I let you go, and I'll check to see if you have any questions, but the Capstone assignment is going to be due in 2 weeks, and those of you who turn it in early by Friday at 3 p.m., my commitment to you is that I'll review those and I'll give you some feedback so that if you have any deductions, you'll know why and you'll have a chance to make the corrections. If you turn it in after Friday at 3 p.m., that promise does not apply to you. You may get some feedback, but it's all going to depend on my schedule. So that's the deal. And then there will be another assignment, a final assignment for those of you who need the extra 50 points. That will be called the blueprint, and that's an extra assignment we haven't done in the past, but it will be created between now and 2 weeks from now for those of you who need extra credit. All right, any questions before I close out the Zoom meeting and get to work on the Capstone review? I'm not seeing anything. Thanks, Alina. I feel the same way. I'm glad you learned a lot of new things, and I hope it works out great for the rest of your life. I promise you these things, just paying attention to your income and your expenses, keeping track of your money is a really important discipline, and it can make a huge difference in your life. That's one of the reasons we do. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Colby. And thanks for the happy early birthday. Thanks, Charlotte. It's been a blessing to me too. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, I'm going to send you guys an email at some point, and I want to just mention, kind of set the table. Most of you have heard about this course or learned a little bit about this course by looking at ratemyprofessors.com. So that's one thing I always ask, is if you had an experience that's worth sharing, if you would do that on ratemyprofessors.com, I would really appreciate it. I read all of those comments, and I appreciate them. I'm looking for honest comments, not just happy words. If you have some things that you would like to see adjusted, by all means, make that clear in your review. So that's ratemyprofessors.com. The other thing is we're going to be doing a Bauer College evaluation, which is incredibly helpful for the Bauer College and for the University of Houston and for you. So those two things I'm going to ask you to do when you have time. And so next week I'll remind you again, for those of you who are here, and I'll send you an email with a reminder as well. So, all right, I'm still reading messages. I appreciate that, Victor. Colby, thank you. Alina, let's see. You guys are very kind, and thank you for sharing on ratemyprofessors.com. And it looks like that's it. If I missed anything, post that comment one more time so it shows up fresh at the bottom of my little thing. Chat box here, and I will answer your question. I'm gonna count to 10, and if I don't get any more comments, I'm gonna say goodbye and look forward to seeing you soon, and hopefully we can stay connected on LinkedIn and by email or whatever. I'm always happy to help if you ever have a question, even if it's 10 years from now. And so are we good to talk with you after this semester? Yes, indeed, Colby. You were reading my mind. Yeah. Oops, just answered that. Yep, great. So you know how to reach me. Munchback has an H on the end. Jump onto LinkedIn, go to Jim Munchback, and just connect. I'll accept if I see that, especially if I have your name on my radar, which I do, because you guys all joined Money Study Group. So I'm hoping to have your permission to keep in touch. And you certainly have my permission to keep in touch if you need something. So, okay, 10, 9. Olivia, how do we hire you or a financial advisor? That's a great question. Send me an email, and if you send me an email, I'll send you a little more information. how do you hire a financial advisor? You interview them first, and you share a little bit about what your goals are and what you're trying to accomplish. And you find out if that financial advisor is really set up and equipped to help you achieve your goals. And everybody's goals are different, and every advisor serves a different kind of niche client. So it starts with a conversation about what you're trying to achieve. So we're happy to do that. If you go to my website, bayrockfinancial.com, everywhere on my website you can book an appointment to have that conversation. Or you can just go to cfpconsult.com. That's CFP as in Certified Financial Planner, cfpconsult.com, and you can book an appointment with me anytime. Start your first job and then give me a holler. That's good idea. I'd appreciate that. But anyway, so back to the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys take care. I'm going to close it out now.